The winter morning arrived quietly, as if it did not want to disturb the fragile stillness of the city. A pale fog rested on the streets like a thin blanket, softening the harsh edges of buildings and muting the noise of traffic. In a small apartment on the third floor of an old building near the railway station, Arav sat by the window with a cup of tea growing cold in his hands. He was a man of 35, but his eyes carried the tiredness of someone much older. Arav had once believed that words could fix everything. He used to be a teacher of literature, someone who loved poetry and stories, someone who believed that if you found the right sentence, the right phrase, you could heal any wound. But life had slowly taught him otherwise. Some pains did not listen to language. Some losses were too deep for words. 2 years ago, his wife Nisha had died in a road accident. The car crash had been sudden, cruel, and final. One moment she had been laughing on the phone with him, telling him she would be late from work, and the next moment she was gone. After that, Arav discovered a strange truth. People talk a lot around grief, but very little of what they say actually reaches the heart. Be strong, they said. Time will reveal everything, they said. She is in a better place, they said. Arav would nod, sometimes even smile, but inside he felt like a house that had lost its roof. Everything inside was exposed to rain and cold. So he stopped trying to explain his pain. He stopped trying to find words for it. Instead, he learned to live with silence. The girl at the bus stop. Every morning, Arav took the same bus to his office. He now worked in a small publishing house, editing manuscripts in a quiet room. It was a job that required concentration, but very little conversation, which suited him. At the bus stop near his building, he often noticed a little girl sitting on the broken bench under a neem tree. She looked about 8 or 9 years old. She always carried a school bag that seemed too big for her small shoulders. She never played, never ran, never talked to anyone. She just sat there, swinging her legs slowly, staring at the road as if she were waiting for something that never came. One morning, Arav saw her crying silently. No sound, no sobbing, just tears rolling down her cheeks while she wiped the back of her hand with her nose. People walked past her. Some looked, most didn't. Arav hesitated. He was not good with children. He was not good with words anymore. But something in her quiet sadness felt familiar. He walked to a nearby tea stall, bought a small packet of biscuits, and returned. He did not ask her what was wrong. He simply sat down on the bench, placed the biscuit packet beside her, and waited. The girl looked at him, then at the biscuits, then back at him. For a moment she seemed unsure. Then she slowly took the packet, opened it, and ate one. They sat there in silence until the bus arrived. The next day she was there again. This time she was not crying, but she looked tired. Arav again brought biscuits. Sometimes he brought a small chocolate, sometimes just a toffee. They never talked, but after a week she began to smile at him. A small smile, shy, careful. One day she left a small folded paper on the bench when she got on her school bus. On it was written in uneven handwriting, "Thank you for sitting with me." Arav kept that paper in his wallet. He never learned her name. She never learned his. But something in both of them became a little lighter. 2. The Old Man and the Pigeons. Near Arav's office, there was a small public square. Every afternoon during his lunch break, Arav would sit there and eat his simple meal. And every afternoon he saw an old man feeding pigeons. The man was thin, with white hair and trembling hands. He walked slowly, leaning on a wooden stick. He always carried a small cloth bag full of grains. The pigeons loved him. The moment he sat down, they would gather around him, flapping their wings and cooing. One day, Arav noticed that the old man was struggling more than usual. His hands shook badly, and some of the grains fell to the ground before he could throw them. Arav walked up to him. "Can I help you?" he asked softly. The old man looked at him, surprised. Then he smiled. But he did not answer. Instead, he handed the cloth bag to Arav. So Arav sat beside him and fed the pigeons. They did this every day after that. They talked very little. The old man's hearing was weak, and his voice was even weaker. Sometimes he would say a few broken sentences about the weather or the birds. Sometimes he would just watch the sky. One day the old man did not come. The next day he did not come. On the third day, Arav asked a nearby shopkeeper about him. "He passed away," the shopkeeper said. "Heart attack. He lived alone." Arav felt a strange heaviness in his chest. He sat in the square that day and scattered grains on the ground. The pigeons still came, but the bench felt emptier than before. 3. The woman in the hospital corridor. One evening, Arav went to the hospital to visit a colleague who had met with an accident. In the long, cold corridor outside the ICU, he saw a woman sitting on the floor with her back against the wall. She was holding her phone in her hands, but the screen was dark. She was not using it. She was just holding it. Her eyes were fixed on the ICU door. She looked like someone who had been waiting for a very long time. Arav sat a few seats away from her. Minutes passed, then hours. No one spoke. At one point, a nurse came out and called a name. It was not the woman's. Her shoulders relaxed for a second, then they slumped again. Arav remembered that same corridor 2 years ago, the same smell of disinfectant, the same white walls, the same terrible waiting. He stood up, went to the vending machine, and brought 2 cups of tea. He placed one cup on the seat beside her. She looked at it, then at him. Their eyes met. For a moment, both of them saw their own fear reflected in the other. She did not say thank you. He did not say anything. She just took the cup and held it with both hands, as if the warmth might stop her from breaking. When Arav left, he gently nodded at her. She nodded back. He never knew what happened behind that ICU door, but he knew that for a few hours, neither of them had been completely alone. 4. The boy who couldn't hear. One Sunday morning, Arav was in a park reading a book. Near the swings, he noticed a young boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old, sitting alone. Other children were playing, shouting, and laughing. The boy was not. He was drawing something on a notebook. A group of kids ran past him and accidentally knocked his notebook to the ground. The pages scattered. They laughed and ran away. The boy just stood there, frozen. Arav walked over and helped him pick up the pages. The boy looked at him, his eyes wide and uncertain. Arav noticed something then. The boy did not react to the noise around him, not to the shouting, not to the horns from the road, not even to Arav's voice. He realized the boy was deaf. Arav did not know sign language, so he did the only thing he could. He smiled. He pointed at the drawings. They were beautiful, simple, but full of emotion. Trees, birds, a small house, a sun with a face. Arav gave him a thumbs up. The boy's face lit up. He smiled back. They sat there side by side, drawing. No words were exchanged, but something important was shared.